Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, The Wealthy Mindset. It's yours truly, Money Making Mitch. And as usual guys, this is not financial advice. Please do your own due diligence and research. What do I have for you guys on a Monday morning? Well, there's a couple things I want to touch on. One of them is a little bit old. It happened last week. I believe it was Friday or Saturday. I touched on it on my video yesterday, but I wanted to go more in depth. And you guys are going to see why I'm going more in depth on it. But also, I'm going to talk about our battery swap stations, how many swaps we did. I'm going to leave the link again for you guys in the comments. And I also want to talk about this. One of my subscribers yesterday came out and said, Mitch, he saw a YouTube video where the YouTuber said China just banned EVs for life. Of course, I'm not surprised. I went and I found that video. The YouTuber didn't show his face. You all have to understand what's going on. They are in desperation mode. They tried everything from trade wars to sanctions to banning chips exports to China to spreading fear that China will attack Taiwan. All of these have been debunked now. So what they're doing is, some of these, they're not really analysts, they're writers for certain columnists, like the Tatavosian guy. He comes on YouTube now because he cannot get no one to read his articles. In my old country of Trinidad, we call Tata basically poop. Yes, when the baby poop in their diaper. So Tatavosian, I gave a new name to him, Poopavosian. Now, this guy is lying when he said China just banned EVs for life. And a lot of people watching this who don't see any other YouTubers, sadly, will rush Monday and who knows, maybe sell their shares. This is how sick and demonic these animals are. I am trying to wake up the middle class constantly. It is our turn to get a piece of the pie. Now, listen to this, guys. Business Insider, I mentioned this in my video Sunday. Battery swapping is taking off in China and it could help rescue the EV revolution in the US. Really? Only now you all know this. See, what they did is they beat down the Chinese EV companies, especially NIO. They especially targeted NIO, but why is that money making Mitch? Why they did not target BYD? Why not target Li Auto? Why not target XPeng the way they're targeting us? It is because they understood and saw the winning business model. So by trying to beat it down to see if it will go bankrupt, which didn't work, and in the process possibly buying a lot of shares, like you saw BlackRock kept buying Vanguard, Black Bridgewater and Associates, etc., the huge pension, American pension funds. Now it's time to change their tongue like a wicked viper and release it. So this is why I think they chose to bash NIO and not so much the others. Then when their god Elon Musk came out and said with his own mouth that Chinese EV companies are incredibly good and will destroy the car manufacturers in the West if they don't block them, he was not meant to say that part out loud. So, the article goes on to say, America's EV revolution is stalling, and the time it takes to charge an electric car is at the heart of the issue. But that's not only the only thing at the heart of the issue. We know that if there were battery swap stations in America, a lot of people would also be using them, and they will start buying EVs because they wouldn't have that range anxiety anymore. They wouldn't have to worry that their Tesla Model 3 is worthless after 8 years. They wouldn't have to worry about these things. They wouldn't have to worry about if they break down on the side of the street. If that pretty young lady is coming from work and she breaks down in a lonely area in a part of the street or in a rough neighborhood, she can call NIO. And King William Lee with his cape will come flying like Superman to the rescue. To the rescue. We are knights in shining armor for the ladies. Don't forget that. Now, no one else is doing that. Yes, we're selling EVs in America, right? But do they do all of these things? What was that? Nah, they don't. They do not have a winning business model. They did not do what the founder of Merck Pharmaceuticals said. Put the customer first and all else will follow. But they saw what NIO was doing and building out. They saw it. Trust me, they saw it. They did not just wake up to this revelation. They saw what King William Lee was doing. And they said, oh, battery swapping is a waste. It's cash burn. The phones is cash burn. They're making their own in-house chips. That's a waste. And so much more that we're doing, they say it's a waste. Knowing fully well we are becoming self-sufficient, so we don't have to worry about trade tariffs and sanctions, etc., etc. And we're building a business model that will win and dominate the landscape to be numero uno. That's all the Spanish I know, guys. Now, right now, charging your EV can take anywhere from 20 minutes to 50 minutes. 20 minutes to 50 minutes, depending on how you do it. And anxieties over range and charging are putting many drivers off going electric. Right? I just said that. I'm reading ahead of this. I'm talking off my head, but then it's on the article. Battery swapping, which sees dead EV batteries replaced with fully charged ones in a process that takes less than 5 minutes, might provide a solution. Might provide a solution? Allow me to write for this columnist next time. It not might. I would change that word. Definitely provide a solution. And it's an approach being used by one of Tesla's biggest Chinese rivals. Founded by entrepreneur William Lee, sometimes referred to as China's Elon Musk. That's an insult. William Lee is more on the level of, I would say, somebody like Jeff Bezos, somebody like Warren Buffett, somebody like Steve Jobs, and even beyond that. Now, in 2014, NIO has built a network of more than 2,000 battery swap stations in China. See, now they are realizing that the battery swap stations are going to be the new gas stations, which we spoke about here already. Imagine the revenue we're going to be getting from this. Imagine the kind of dividends we'll be getting from this company in the future. So, excuse me. The company allows customers to buy their cars without paying for the full cost of the battery, and then charges them a monthly subscription to simply swap out the dead batteries whenever they run out of charge. Aside from lowering the upfront cost of an electric car, NIO's battery swapping system also has other benefits, its senior vice president Fen Shay told Business Insiders. In areas of China where battery swap stations are fairly widespread, users can upgrade their battery from 75 kilowatt to 100 kilowatt hours for only $7 a day, he said. So that's like, you know, when the Chinese have their holidays, and these people are very, very family oriented, so they're leaving the cities to go to the country to visit their family, mom, dad, uncle, etc. They don't have to even worry about that. They just rent the higher grade battery. What we find is that more users will buy or lease cars with the 75 kilowatt hour battery instead of the 100 kilowatt hour battery because the price is lower. When they go on a long distance journey, like going back to their hometown, they can upgrade for a long distance battery in one of 4 swap stations he added. And this is another point I'm proving. William Lee could have said, no, we're only offering the 100 kilowatt hour battery. And it's going to be more expensive, but that's all we're offering. Is that customer service? Is that putting the customer first? Is that the vision that Xi Jinping has for China of common prosperity where every Chinese benefit from the profits of companies and the economy in general? No. Only in the West, especially here in America, we have 1% with all of the wealth. Because you go to work and the guy at the top makes all the money and the guy at the bottom makes barely enough to survive. Common prosperity. NIO's battery swapping strategy has picked up traction in the fiercely competitive Chinese EV market in recent months, with the company signing deals with fellow electric vehicle makers Geely, JAC and Chery to jointly develop battery swapping technology. Now, those companies we sign agreements with, Geely, JAC and Chery, with more to come, with more signing to come, is larger than BYD combined. How you like them apples? Now, see, people always worrying about, oh, we making a profit, what's going on? When everything comes together, my man, watch what happens with our earnings. However, it remains, despite this, NIO is planning to significantly expand its operations, including outside China. The company has set up 30 battery swap stations in Europe and is planning to launch a new range of affordable EVs and attempt to boost sales in the continent. When we go to England, guys, when this thing explodes and we go to watch that Manchester-Liverpool match and we meet up with Triple Everett Jack, one of my subscribers, we will be taking a Neo taxi. We will be wearing the X-ray glasses in the backseat while we watch a movie to the stadium, if there's traffic. Probably not. We'll want to take a look at the nice scenery, right? The beautiful city. Neo's battery swap stations around the size of a small car wash are unlikely to appear on US roads anytime soon, with Chinese automakers largely shut out of the US market thanks to high tariffs. But remember, Gavin Newsom went to California last year and he said, I want these. He saw the BYD. Imagine if he saw the tip of the spear. Imagine if he saw the dragon that came out of its den, like one of my subscribers rightfully said. He would not even think about a BYD. He did not see the artwork of a Neo. No, sir, he didn't. So imagine if he saw that, he would not be leaving China without one. He said, that's a blow for American consumers. He says, that's a blow for American consumers. And remember, I said that in my channel. We are staying in the dark ages, so to speak, compared to where China is now, with their railroads, with their cities, with their EVs, with their technology, with their phones. Huawei phone is satellite connected. And they're going to be building a factory in France this year. This guy is saying it now. So how did I know that before him? He knew it. They know it. Who began to turn their backs on EVs. He said it's a blow for American consumers who began to turn their backs on EVs amid a dearth of affordable options and concerns over charging and range. Do not be concerned anymore when we hit the shores through California. Because, I said this before, our factory is about 90% automated if we're worried about high cost. And I believe Neo is probably also working on making their factory more than 90% automated for when we hit the California shores, Arizona, etc., etc. Experts told BI that battery swapping offers a solution to many of those concerns in theory. I have some news for this guy. It's not theory anymore. It's practical. We've done it. From a purely technological point of view, it is a panacea. It solves all of the big problems people have with the EVs. Can you imagine they're saying this now? Said Dylan Koo, an analyst at ABI Research. He pointed out that the most powerful plug-in battery chargers still take 20 minutes to charge an EV up to 80%, with many battery swap stations able to swap in a fully charged battery under 5 minutes. And also, I don't think they mentioned this here, but when your Tesla Model 3 after 8 years, it's worth this much. I don't know if you guys could see this. Boing, boing, zero hero, nothing. Our EVs retain its value because we rent the battery. People are going to wake up to a rude reality soon. John Helveston, a professor of engineering at George Washington University, agreed, telling BI that a nationwide network of battery swapping stations would effectively eradicate range anxiety and make charging an EV as simple as filling up with gas. Only now they know this. Even Neil Tyson deGrasse spoke about this in the Joe Rogan podcast not long ago. Remember that, guys? The American astrophysicist? However, he said that battery swapping faces a more challenging outlook in the US than in China, with the sheer number of EVs being sold in China, meaning that automakers can build their own swapping networks without depending on striking deals with their rivals. However, we also know that Neo has taken up most of the premium places already in China. And why build your own and lose a lot of cash now and run out of business when we already have them? That's why they're signing deals with us. Because the way that King William Lee gets funding is different to any other CEO that I've ever seen. This man will go to the Abu Dhabi boys and say, yo, cough up some bread. I need some bread to grow this factory. Oh, here you go, Mr. Lee. You understand? He has something about him when he lay out the platform and show them and they see the winning business model. They have no choice but to jump on board. This is why I tell you guys, if the Abu Dhabi boys and everybody else, BlackRock, everybody else is buying heavily the whales when it comes to Neo, why are you pooping in your pants? Pull your pants up and buy the dip Every payday, I'm going to continue to buy. What are you doing? And this is how we're going to become wealthy when this thing explodes. We're going to become wealthy. This is my last chance. I said it and I'll say it again, to become wealthy. China has a higher scale in terms of the volumes of EVs being sold. That any one automaker making a particular vehicle, they can actually design their car to be swappable, and they don't necessarily have the battery that works with other competitors. But what this clown is taking out of the equation is this thing is going to become universal, where they use one battery, one standard size. NIO is already proving that. That's why Geely and JC and all of them are jumping on. And that's why King William Lee said several other companies are lined up to sign. That's why I think BYD, Tesla, all of them are going to line up to join. Halverson added that China's efficient urban transport links mean there's less need for EVs to have a massive range boosting batteries than in more scattered US, something which makes battery swapping far easier. I want to say to this guy, rest your concerns, my friend. King William Lee have the answer to every solution, to every problem. Nobody needs to drive 300 miles in a car in China. That's sort of an insane idea, and that means you can buy a much smaller battery, which is a much easier to swap, he said. And that's true, but how many people drive 300 miles a day in America? Not many, right? So the same system will work here. You heard it here first from Money Making Mitch, and I'm not an analyst. Koo told BI that establishing a battery swapping network in the US would require intense collaboration between US automakers who would have to agree to use batteries with a smaller size and design. So he spoke about collaboration. Remember, I told you guys, Ganesh Iyer is I said this last year, is the NIO CEO of America. And he said that they are exploring all partnerships in America. He's hard at work exploring all partnerships from when we enter the American market. Ford has already spoken very highly of us. Could it be with Ford? Could it be with GM? Okay, stay tuned. Stay tuned, guys. But you want to sell your shares? Not me. A lot of automakers in the West are a bit more protective and defensive. They want to have a lot more ownership, and they wouldn't necessarily be as comfortable with sharing the big network because the battery is really the key defining components of EVs, he said. Why is he saying that? Because, remember, now they're understanding. Now they are understanding. See, these EVs will run for many years unless you get tired of it and want to get a new one because there's no timing belt, there's no water pump, etc., etc. So where are you going to get the revenue from? That's right. From battery swapping, from sales of batteries, from the chips, from the phones, and all of the other things that we're going to be selling. Even NIO, which has pioneered the technology and persuaded many of its rivals to jump on board, acknowledges that it is a big leap for many automakers. This is why they're joining with us. Battery swapping is not a light innovation. And we see that. We had to get help to continue building out. But once we build out and everything is done, oh my goodness. It's a heavy innovation because battery swap is closely connected with the vehicle design and the sales model. Even in China, where we cooperated with other automakers, it is not easy for them to make the decision to work with NIO on battery swapping. It was not easy for them. But do you know why they did it? Because they must bend the knee to King William Lee. They must kiss that ring and acknowledge that if they don't join, they will go out of business. One US company that says it has a solution to this problem is California startup Ample. Ample is a cheap version of NIO. They are the plastic version. Now they're realizing, oh my God, this guy King William Lee was right. We have to jump on board. Too late shall be the cry, well, I can't say that word. The San Francisco-based firm has developed battery swap station that can swap in a fully charged battery, which the company says can be adjusted to work. If you go to an automaker and say, look, the way you work with us is to rebuild all your cars, that's a tall order, said Ample. So the firm's approach to battery swapping is beginning to win over major automakers. If partnership is successful, it could expand to the US in the future with the Fiat 500 ET set to launch stateside this year. So you guys can find this article on the Business Insider. I hope for a Monday morning, this gives you guys more conviction. And let me also say this. One of my subscribers timed the ChargeMap charging swapping stations, this ChargeMap, which I'll leave the link again so you guys can click on it on the comments and save it to your phone. I actually timed the ChargeMap for a day. It's an average of 75,000 swaps a day. A day! It slows down at midnight while picks up very fast from 5 a.m. China time, which is 13 hours ahead of the United States. We now have up to 2,368 swap stations. We are averaging over 2.2 million a month. My goodness, and they say this was cash burn? Shut your mouth, boy. 1 million a week. Woohoo! Probably before the end of the year, we're going to have 1 million a week, he says. I could see that happening. So I hope you guys found this video to be informational and inspirational and understand what you're holding is a gem. What you're holding is a future giant, and when it busts out this time, there'll be no coming back. There will be no coming back. If this video has been influential enough for you guys and given you guys enough encouragement to hold your shares, don't forget to hit that thumbs up, please. If you haven't yet subscribed, you might want to think about doing so, because in this channel we have that warrior mindset. Like 50 said, we get rich or we die trying, guys.